Oh, were you here last night?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roxy, any public input? Yes, ma'am. Timmy?
Hello, I'm Kimmy Hay, and I want to talk tonight about alcohol in Lindsborg. I know we've come a long way, but I think we have a lot more to do, and I think a lot of people in town are really up for this. I would like to see a special events permit where we could have somebody pay a special events fund for fee, I think in Salina it's $25, for the 100 blocks of North and South Main to include Lucia Park and the city parking lot located on Main and Grant, the city parking lot behind City Hall, and the 600 block of North Kansas between Normal and Columbus, which is behind Bethany College Football Stadium. We have a lot of events that go on in town that we're constantly hearing. I wish we could carry alcohol. And I'm just talking special events for people to walk up and down the street, not necessarily to walk in and out of a place where they sell alcohol. And this would, of course, be when the streets are closed. That's one way to look at it. You can have the streets closed and do it on the street, or just the sidewalks, and have it from a certain time to a certain time. Also, the one on North Kansas, of course, that is in front of the Bethany College Football Stadium, which means tailgating. Tailgating is huge, and Kern White is on board with this big time. It's something that Paul Hubbard and I discussed a long time ago, and he wanted it so bad, and then of course he's not here anymore, but it would mean a lot more seats in the people sitting down in the seats, and just a little bit more camaraderie for Bethany College. I would also like to see, not just me, but I'm the one speaking, I would also like to see open alcohol consumption at all times to the public, or for the public, at both Swenson Park and Riverside Park. In other words, you can just take a cooler anytime you want. This is also something that they do in Salina and other cities, and it's working out pretty well. They're not having any more of a problem with minor consumption as they did beforehand. And anyway, I do have a copy of the Salina codes from the city manager's office, if anybody would like those forwarded to me, so you can kind of get an idea of what they've done and how they've changed it. And plus Rick works at the parks, and so he has some input on that too. So anyway, anybody have any questions?
You mean if we want to have it forwarded to us, not to you?
Correct. I have this, I can
Yeah.
forward to you, yes. I have the
Can
city
you might
codes.
want to just give that to Roxy?
Okay, I'll get your email address and forward it to you. And then you can forward it to everybody else. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next person is Brian.
Wake up.
I'll make it short and sweet. I promise not to bother David too much tonight. So, Janelle and I just kind of wanted, on behalf of the Sims Homeless Festival, we want to say thank you to the City Council, to the city employees there on a 2-day event that we had here. If you guys were down there, I think it went pretty well. We had probably record crowds. Mother Nature had a lot to do with that. But a lot of it has to do with the background work the city did, you guys did, on letting us do what we do. We had some minor hiccups here and there, but nothing major in that regard. So just to follow up and say thank you for the beer tank we did. I think that was a pretty good event. We didn't have any major issues on that. And I also like seeing people on the stands, up and down the streets. From a community standpoint, I think it was a pretty well festival. 2 years from now, who knows what that will be. But from 2 days we had here, everyone had a pretty good time. Janelle and I are trying to get caught up on sleep. as well as the other committee members. Gotta go back to work now, so unfortunately, gotta go back to work today. So that's all I got. Just want to say thank you, and won't bother you, David, for another year and a half. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Job well done.
Are there any amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll go to the mayor's report. I too want to echo thanks on behalf of the city to the Women's Fest Committee. Great group of people to work with, work very hard. It's wonderful to think 2 years ago that when we had rain, and we know what that means, and then to see this year having great weather and amazing crowds, and a lot of people were just so complimentary of Lindsborg. And we looked good, and we played well, and moving the smorgasbord down to the Sunstrom, we all felt was a real positive, good thing. There were many new things, the food court down on Grant Street, lots of new things. We didn't solve the parking problems, and those are just what we have here in this little town. And, I think on the whole, and you've each got your own take on what happened with the people that came to your house or however you participated, but thank you to the whole community that supports this festival. Not enough thanks that we can give. So congratulations to many people. Last week, some of us were at the Kansas League of Municipalities meeting in Overland Park. Had some good discussions on many different subjects, but one of them was we had a meeting with IDTS. IDTS is the company that we work with out of Kansas City that does our building inspections. And I don't know, Chris, a year, 2 years, 3, I don't know.
2.5 years.
2.5
Yep.
years. And I think we have been very, I shouldn't say surprised, but it's been a good experience for us.
Yeah, it's worked well.
So we met with a man named Kurt Scoob. Anyway, and to talk about code enforcement. And we don't have a code enforcement position here. And so it falls to Chief or to Chris or to Greg. And so it's, I will just say it's an uneven process. And so we checked with IDTS, and they do have a program in their company where they do code enforcement. And there's a lot. But Greg wanted me to mention this to you tonight. It will be something that we will be talking more about. And I think, Lucas, you were there, and Roxy, you were there, and Rick was there. Anything other than what I just said, I mean, what Mr. Scoob had to say about what they could do. Do you remember anything different? Anyway, it was a good meeting. It was a good meeting, good beginning. So you will be hearing more about code enforcement and code violations about that. So the other, Halloween is next week, folks. And then October is over. So anyway, but this October has been pretty special for Lindsborg. So again, congratulations to everybody. All right, the consent agenda, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. David?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Penny?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Jody? Yes. Rick?
Yes.
Consent agenda is approved. I don't believe there are any appointments. Harry is not here. There's nothing from planning and zoning. Old business? I don't think so. Okay, so the first item on the new business is Evans Walker quote.
The police department would like to buy some lockers to store evidence in. Seems to be one area where we run out of room for is our evidence. We currently use the garage that's off the back side of the police department between the department and the community room as a temporary evidence room. Like if we seize a car or something like that. It's actually got two doors. One of the doors is keyed as our evidence room, and then we just bolt the other doors and it becomes a temporary room. Well, we've had so much evidence that garage has been full of evidence almost the whole year. And the problem with that is that the lockers that we use, the officers use to put their evidence into are all in that garage. And it's really, really heavy, and I'm not moving it. So we talked about maybe putting some out in the bay where we have our patrol cars over there, so that when we have to use it as a temporary evidence room, we have somewhere where the officers can put their evidence, so they don't have to call me at 2 in the morning to come in and unlock that room so they can put it in there, which has basically been what's been happening. So I had a couple of quotes, and one of them was for some lockers that are actually for law enforcement, and you can see that they were very high. And so then we just went with like regular lockers, and they were much cheaper. We were looking at getting 3 locker combinations from Global Industries, and the amount is only $1,620.62.
Okay, so that is the recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
I so move.
Your second?
Second.
All right, discussion?
I got a quick question. You mentioned that the one set of lockers is for law enforcement versus not. Would that in any way impact your illegal, I don't know what, I'm losing the,
Would it compromise the evidence?
yeah, so you're not,
Chain of
necessity, thank you, that's what I was going to, there's no difference.
Not as long as it can be secured and limited to the police department, according to their procedures.
So you are satisfied, Tim, that what you're recommending here is what your needs are?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't they put it into a glove box or something until the next day?
Well, not everything we collect is small enough to fit in the book.
Okay.
Any other questions? Corey?
Yes.
Jody? Yes. Rick?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Okay. Motion is approved. Tim, the next item is Public Safety Center carpet quote.
Yeah, I would want to put some new carpet in the building before I get out of there. Get it all snazzy looking for, actually the carpet's really bad. The community room really gets a lot of, I don't know, get a lot of us heavy guys sitting in there and then start ripping up the carpet. And I kind of put Angela in charge of looking at carpets, and she came up with the squares. She thought it would be better if we went with the square carpet that's glued down, so that if we did have some issues or problems, we wouldn't be replacing the entire room. So we're looking at having carpet put in the community room and then the 2 offices at the safety center. And the low bid was from Sunflower Carpet in the amount of $4,345.42. And Scotty, he does the installs for Sunflower Carpet, and the amount that he would be paid would then be $1,827.
So the total cost is?
The total cost is $6,145.69, but there would actually have to be one check go to Sunflower Carpet and one to Scotty.
Okay.
And Scotty actually lives right next to the police department, which is, so I have a problem. She Yeah.
Don't pay mine.
We just need one motion for the total cost, is that?
As long as the motion specifies both suppliers, I think that's okay.
I'll make a motion for a total cost of $6,145.69 for carpet, with $4,345.42 going to Sunflower Carpet, and $1,800.27 to the installer, Scotty Hoop.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve that amount of money. David?
Yes.
Oh, Mark?
I just got a couple questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Sorry.
You're
And is that an industrial strength carpet? It's not a, I mean, it's a good heavy duty carpet?
It's not low-end carpet, but I don't know if it's like the highest-end carpet either. It's kind of somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
And that's why I thought the square would be good too. That way if one of them gets, it's not really going to cost us a lot to replace a few squares of carpet.
So do you have you included extra squares to have on hand in case that pattern isn't available anymore? Might be something you want to consider.
Yeah, I don't know if I've done that or not, but I'll be not going to send but I can certainly make sure we have some.
And then, was this in the budget? That was one other question. Was the carpet in the budget?
The money wasn't actually budgeted, but we do have money budgeted for the safety center.
Okay.
For fire and EMS, or PD combined.
Thanks.
Nice, quick, easy question. The community room, is that where we go to vote? Is that where you're talking
Yeah.
about?
And I'd like to have it looking good before they go up. So I'm hoping I can get this approved so we get it done before.
Any other discussion? David?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Betty? Yes. Wayne?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes.
Jody? Yes. Rick?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Chris?
That's not what it said on there.
What's up? Follow there, Chris.
Parks Department has the fuel cap that has had some issues with the engine over the last summer. They've had some overheating problems, off and on for a couple of years, I believe, and it's ended up there's found a head that has been cracked, so the engine is no longer any good. So Gary's done some research and found that basically they need to replace the engine. They have it up at Bobcat Salina right now. They've diagnosed it through everything. They've come up with a price of $6,400 to replace the engine. And he is asking for a motion to pay Bobcat Salina a sum not to exceed $7,000 for the repairs detailed in the attached estimate, $47.66.
All right, and so, that motion that you are wanting is not to exceed.
Not to exceed incidentals while they're doing work, that's priced. There's always incidentals that come up, so I think you wanted to include something for extra in case.
Can we do that? Can we
Yes.
do it not to exceed?
Not to exceed.
Yes.
Not to exceed, all right. Do I have a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion.
I know what a Bobcat is. What's a tool cat?
Toolcat is what it's a Bobcat brand and it's a toolcat. Basically, it's a four-wheel vehicle that has a loader on the front like a skid loader does, and it also has a dump bed on the back. It's actually an ideal piece of equipment for our trail and park system. They have what's known as a crab steer, whereas you can turn the wheels and turn a real tight circle. If you were using a skid loader like we use in the street department or whatever, they can tear up the ground real easily when you're turning on a sharp corner, and the tool cap will allow it to turn real tight radiuses. So,
It'll also accept different attachments like a finger box.
yeah.
Any other discussion? Rick,
Yes.
Jody? Yes. Corey?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Eddie?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, Chris. Right, the next item is Resolution 08-19, Raymer Society Special Event Alcohol Permit.
The Raymer Society has submitted their notification for nonprofit organization event promoting the arts that will go to the state if approved. But during the Kansas Museum Association's conference travel and reception, they would like to be able to have complimentary alcohol served at the businesses that were attached.
Okay. So at this point, what this resolution is?
Yes, we're looking for a motion to approve resolution 8-19, authorizing the serving of complimentary alcoholic liquor or cereal malt beverages on November 6, 2019, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Kansas Museums Association Conference Travel and Reception, sponsored by the Raymer Society.
I move that we approve resolution number 08-19.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve this. And the resolution, this needs a roll call.
In this case, I would probably do it as a roll call. I don't technically think you need to, but I think it'd be better to do so. I think it's important to understand, this is not the same thing as what Kimmy was talking to. Even though it says traveling traveling reception, it's not like you could take alcohol out of one business and walk to the next. It would only be for consumption on the premises of those businesses.
Everybody understand that?
That was going to be my question.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Any other questions or concerns about this? Hearing none, Ross.
David?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Jody? Yes. Blaine?
Yes.
Corey?
Do I vote on this, Mr.?
No, you should not, because your business is part of it.
I will abstain.
Jody? Yes. Rick?
Yes.
All right, it has, with one abstention, it does carry. All right, I believe there's an executive session. Other, does anybody have any others? Betty?
I actually have two. One is for, I don't know if I want to call it an update, I'll leave it an update. I've had constituent concerns about the perpetual construction of the home at North 2nd and Olson, citing it as a hazard to passersby, children, whatever. So kind of want to know where that is and if the city is planning on taking any action.
Chris, do you want to speak to that? They do have a building permit.
They have a building permit. To my knowledge, the last I knew, they were in plan review, and they were looking at plans. I don't know where that is at, if it's still in that state. That's all.
But it's been sitting there for months with this giant hole in the deck, and I think it's a real possible problem, especially with Halloween. They have plans and they're looking over their plans. I'll send you over there and explain them to you.
All right.
It seems like a real problem.
I think this property has been mentioned to the city on a number of occasions, and I think there is conversation between the owner and his contractor and the city,
There's conversations, but
but
it doesn't
no,
seem to go anywhere.
yes, but nothing seems to be happening at this point. So, Bill, is there a time limit on a building permit?
I don't know that you can necessarily revoke a building permit after a particular length of time, but that would be, just because the building permit has been issued, that would not necessarily restrict any other type of code enforcement action.
Okay.
I mean, generally what we've done is if somebody gets a building permit and is making some progress on things, we kind of let it back off. But I don't think legally that is necessary.
So is the issue, there's a hole in the ground, or what?
There's a big hole in the ground.
That's, I haven't been by that, looked closely, but there's not partial construction, it's just a hole in the ground.
Well, and it's giant weeds everywhere, tall weeds.
We made them install safety fencing around it. That started off with just a piece of caution tape, which that didn't last long, and we made them go back and put safety fence around it. That's somewhat still holding up, but the weeds have grown up and it's starting to.
But in fact, that fencing wouldn't keep anyone with an ounce of determination from getting inside. Yeah.
And every time it rains, all that dirt washes out on the sidewalk and stuff. It's slippery and people that are out walking have been, now go across the street and walk because it's safety hazard. So, thank you.
My second other is for those of us that don't have a pickup truck or something to haul stuff to the boneyard. I learned that in McPherson, they actually have poly carts specifically for yard waste. And I was wondering if that could become an option for residents in Lindsborg. Even if it was only, quite honestly, I would pay for it 12 months a year, even if I only used it 6 months a year, because it has that much value to somebody that is weeding, trimming, pruning, whatever. And I would be interested to know if that could become an option for Lindsborg citizens.
Thank you.
It's a good idea. I would be curious to know how much of a problem it is for the waste landfill people. I'm assuming they're just putting it in there. So they
Keep
get
it in your
trash.
trash. Yeah.
Maybe solve that problem, potentially, if there is. I don't know.
I don't know. Any other others?
The week dinners are November 7th at the Swedish Crown, and I believe dinner registration starts at 5:30, with dinner being served at 6. So if you are interested, if you could please let me or Cassie know. I'd say probably by Monday or Tuesday if possible. I think Wednesday's the deadline.
Which I missed the first part of that. I didn't hear what dinner.
So leagues, dinners.
It's called regional dinners, and this year, there will be one here talking about.
I would like to suggest that the 3 candidates that are running for Corey and David and my positions be extended an invitation to attend those. Oh, you are so on the ball. I'm impressed. I don't know why.
When it is in Lindsborg, I would hope that every council member will look at this very seriously. You will get to meet with other people, other council members from our region, and you'll get to hear from the league about their legislative agendas for this coming legislature. And it's a good time to hear something instead of just reading it. They hear it from the people, and it makes a bigger impression on all of us. So hopefully everybody puts that on their calendar and let
There
Roxy.
also is a government 101 session that begins at 4:30 if you were interested in that. I really should have you, the new members, but it's open as well.
Okay. Are there any other items? Let's do it quickie, folks. Okay.
I'd like to make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.